Oh, hi, audience. What's up? It's Greg Sestero here to introduce you to the True Blue RiffCast, where they talk about amazing movies, bad movies, and everything in between. So you're listening to the True Blue RiffCast. Enjoy it.
Thanks, Greg. This is the True Blue RiffCast, the #1 Riff Tracks podcast in the world. I am Jeremy, and with me, as always, is...
Hi, I'm Dave, and this quarantine thing is hell. This crap needs to stop.
Yes, indeed. So, it's been a while since our last episode. Not since we recorded our last episode, though. We actually did record an episode about 2 weeks ago, and it just kind of never materialized for you guys. But we're blaming that on coronavirus and Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin? I can tell you what, Carol Baskin and all these animal rights people come down here trying to shut me down. That was my impression of Joe Exotic Tiger King. Blaming Carol Baskin? You want my effing watch?
But yeah, we don't have to tell you guys that things have been crazy lately. Not to mention the fact that I started a new job and I'm working nights now, and it's just been weird. It's been an adjustment period.
Hey. That's enough of that. I want to talk about Carol Baskin, Jeremy. I want to talk about Carol Baskin, not about your stupid job.
Tiger King, folks.
Tiger King, yeah.
Netflix.
Jeremy hasn't seen it. I've seen it 5 times. I'm not even kidding.
I don't have Netflix, so I haven't seen it.
It's something else.
I've heard a ton about it, and I am familiar with Joe Exotic.
He's in jail now. Spoiler alert. And I really don't think he should be in jail.
No.
But then
who should be in jail?
Who?
Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin for killing her husband. Oh my gosh! Everyone is out there. Is like, talk about riff tracks.
Our last episode that we recorded, we talked about the winner of the last patron poll that we did, which was Ziddy the Swamp Boy, and we talked about Lady Mobster. This episode that we're talking about will be edited and put up after this one.
After this one. Okay.
After this one, yeah. So it's going to be kind of weird listening out of order. I know for a lot of the podcast services, they come up with the newest first. So if you listen to the newest one after this one, which will be the one about Zindi and Lady Mobster, then you'll actually hear them in the proper order. And yeah,
we're just adding a step because because we enjoy making you do extra steps to enjoy the podcast at it's full capacity. You're welcome, especially patrons.
Yes. So today we do have a couple VODs to talk about because
we do.
As mentioned by Connor and Sean, we do have Ninja Warlord to talk about today. That was Connor talked about that one, and Connor talked about Lovely but Deadly.
Lovely but Deadly, yeah,
about that one, and Sean told us about Ninja Warlord, which we're talking about both of those today. Those are the two newest Riff Tracks releases. And you know what? Since we don't really have a weekend box office,
I was about to say, let's talk about the weekend box office.
What weekend box office, Dave?
Oh, right.
I mean,
it's against the law to go outside.
In most states, anyway.
Yeah.
Which I don't get. You'd think, every state should be doing this, but womp womp. People are still going to get sick and die.
Well, it's not really that bad. Like the county that I live in, we only have 30 cases, and they're all locked away. So me, I'm whatever, MFers, let's go to town. But I mean, no one agrees with me that we should do what everybody else is doing or not do what everybody else is doing. because it inconveniences me, and I'm the most important person ever. And I'm not going to get sick. And even if I do get sick, I don't care. But whatever.
Yeah, I think our state has like the 4th highest number of cases in the country right now. So,
well, your state has.
And I'm working at a grocery store, so
yeah,
I'm out in public.
Yeah, it's not going to end well for you. I'm excited. I never thought I'd live this long, but anyway, Ninja Warlord.
Yeah, let's start with the older of the two releases, Ninja Warlord, a kung fu movie from 1973.
Is it that old?
Released under a few different titles.
Which one of
known,
those?
Yeah, The Rage of the Wind was like the main release from it, I think. Because every time a different distributor gets their hands on it, they give it a different title, and
it's like what was it, Edge of Hell and Rock and Roll Nightmare, that kind of thing.
Yeah, stuff like that. So this version of this one is about fish taxes. There's some Japanese, and they're kind of like ruling over like an island full of Chinese people, and they're imposing fish taxes. It's really weird. Like, even like for it's an very old kung fu movie.
It's very political.
Yeah.
Like surprisingly so.
There's a guy who's overseas. He's married to an American, and he is fighting in the U.S. as a boxer. And then he kills a guy.
Yeah, no, that's what he leaves. That's so
weird. It literally takes place in the span of like 2 minutes in the movie. Like,
yeah, it's like, get it, and like he like uppercut. He's like there's like you think that the guy is like Glass Joe, but he gets like this one like really weird uppercut in, and his opponent just falls over and starts bleeding from the mouth. That's like, well,
and he's dead. So they go back to this island, and the guy's like wearing like an American suit with a bow tie. Like, it's really weird, like, and out of place. I don't know. But he comes back, and the other Chinese people from his village come to him for help against the Japanese dudes, and presumably the guy who is the quote ninja warlord unquote.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't want to do it at first because he just killed a dude. And he's like, no, I don't want to kill any more people. And then he ends up fighting him, and it's a very tropey.
It's
early 70s kung fu movie. I mean, you know what you're walking into.
It's pretty
terrible English
yeah.
dub.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. I've seen some bad dubs in my time at Riff Tracks. I don't think one has ever been as bad as this. Like, not even Supersonic Man. Not even The Revenge of Mr. X. Like, this is bad. Like,
this is easily one of the worst dubs I've ever seen in a movie, period. Like, not even just Riff Track, just any movie that I've seen. This is a terrible dub. This is like Attack of the Super Monsters, but worse dub level. Like,
well, with that,
old anime like that has terrible dubbing to begin with.
Okay,
and this just like takes it down a few notches.
I think I have to defend Attack of the Super Monsters amazingly against this movie for just a second. One, have you seen Attack of the Super Monsters?
Yes, it was one of my favorite riffs from last year.
I mean, it's I think the dub in that is the least of its problems. Smack.
True.
You're my sister. You're my brother, and I hate you. Get out, bitch. Slap. Bitch, are
Merge
you
with
real?
Me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ninja Warlord. It's
definitely a thing.
It's short. I mean, it was 68 minutes long.
Yeah, that's its saving grace. Is that
I think if it would have been longer, I think I would have had a hard time making
it.
It
Would have been like, yeah, no, I
riffs.
would have noped out after a while if it had been any longer. And here's the thing. It's like, it's probably like the most unremarkable, and I know I said this about Flight. Welcome back from the edit, everybody. Hijack Flight 285 was the name of the movie that I was referencing. I said that movie was the most unremarkable movie that RiffTrax has ever done. This is similar in that it's the most unremarkable martial arts movie, especially a foreign martial arts movie that RiffTrax has ever done. They've all had lots of personality, like Robo Vampire, Death Promise, Samurai Cop, to a lesser extent, Miami Connection,
Honor and Glory.
Yeah, Honor and Glory, Fists of Fury, No Retreat, No Surrender. We got Gymkata coming up, as well as Mortal Kombat, which is kind of a martial arts movie. I guess you could say it's that. It's really more of an action movie. So the punchy kicky martial arts movies are definitely a thing in RiffTrax, but they all have they have this, like, each movie, you're not going to confuse it with anything else. Like, you know, it's you know what you're actually, you don't know what you're getting into when you come back out of it, and you're like, oh wow, that was something. I think Roller Gator tries to be a martial arts movie, but it fails. With this, there's martial arts in it, and it's just flat and nothing. I mean,
it's one of the most boring kung fu movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's like the exact opposite of Death Promise, as far as like 70s martial arts movies go.
Yeah. Ninja Warlord, and the other interesting thing to note about this movie is the soundtrack. At first, when I was watching it, I thought that they were just using sound-alike tracks for what they had. Some of the stuff sounded like it might have been Pink Floyd. Some of the stuff sounded like it might have been Isaac Hayes' Shaft soundtrack. Mm-hmm. And it was actually the Shaft soundtrack. And
what?
One of These Days by Pink Floyd.
Did they license that?
Probably not.
Oh wow! So that's going to be a copyright strike.
No, I think they probably used a short enough clip of it,
more than like less than 9 seconds, so like the copyright
whatever
robots
it is,
don't pick up on
because it did seem like it kind of went for a little bit and then stopped, and then it went for a little bit and then it stopped.
So I guess that makes sense. Just 9 seconds, and it's like they like the letter of the law. Like, man, they were right on that. Like they had their lawyers right there.
Yeah, so that was kind of interesting. That was probably the most interesting thing about that movie, though. Honestly, the soundtrack, and it's bad when the soundtrack's the best part of the film. Just look at Batman Forever. But.
Wow. Throwing shade at Batman Forever for literally no reason. Wow. But that's okay. I never do that.
I don't think we really have enough anything else to talk about for Ninja Warlord.
No, because it
pretty much covers it.
It's a boring pile of crap. Yeah,
there's some really good riffs in there.
Oh yeah.
A lot of good throwbacks in there. And it's short enough. It's like I said, barely over an hour.
It's tolerable. It's worth tolerable. Your $10 to hang out with Mike, Kevin, and Bill while watching a really bad and boring kung fu movie.
Yeah, and most people are probably gonna be able to watch it easier than they can watch stuff like Roller Gator. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wish I could force more people to watch Roller Gator, especially my enemies.
But they gotta watch it vanilla, not Riff. They gotta watch
not Riff. Dude, I'm not gonna watch that on Riff. Are you kidding me? No way. Forget that.
That's what I said. Your enemies.
Oh yeah, my enemies.
Let's go on to the newest RiffTrax release.
Now this one is delightful.
Oh my gosh, Lovely but Deadly, from I believe 1981 was released last Friday. And holy cow, this movie was a ride. Let me tell you.
It's like, okay, so we had like, okay, what was the name of that movie a couple weeks ago? The girl guy from
Velvet
Harlem,
Smooth?
Velvet Smooth.
Yeah.
This is kind of a continuation, a little bit of a lot of those themes, only
Yeah?
way dumber, if you can believe it.
Oh,
Where to start? I mean, this is like,
let's start at the beginning. This movie is listed, I think, as a action comedy drama, I think is what it said.
yeah.
But the movie starts off with a scene that you really don't know. I mean, you know what's going on in the scene, but you have no idea how it's going to relate to anything else in the movie, especially when it goes to the next scene and it is seemingly unrelated
Completely
to what we
unrelated.
started with. So we start off with these people on the beach.
Yeah, they're looking like they just found Laura Palmer.
Yeah. There's a guy like all drugged out and face down in the sand, and I don't know if the girl is supposed to be his girlfriend or just one of his friends. I don't know. But she runs over to him and she's like, "What's wrong with you? You know, you're pathetic." And he's like eating sand
and like banging his head on a rock.
His name was Arthur, right? Yeah. And
I don't know.
I think it was
I
Arthur.
didn't commit that to memory. I watched it like 2 hours ago. I don't remember that guy's name.
He was all drugged out, and you know, the other teens.
Okay. No, okay. We have to.
They were all in their early 20s at least.
No, at least. And
at least.
the lead is at least 27.
Yeah. But she's in high school. And she's the older. The guy looked older than her. I don't know. There's a really good riff at this beginning scene though. When the guy's sitting there and he's got a face full of sand, and the girl's yelling at him. One of the guys, it was either Kevin or Bill, I don't remember. Said that it was like BDSM for Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because he was down in the sand. That's great.
Ooh. Yeah. That was the first of many like riffs that they did that were actually like, oh my god, like did they actually just say that? Mm-hmm. There were a couple of those. Then the guy like goes out into the ocean. He says he's gonna catch a tuna fish, and that's it. He like goes under the water. A couple guys are around to save him, and then we get the opening credits for the movie, which is like a high school dance.
Yeah, and then we have these two. One guy was the drug peddler, and
Captain Magic.
Yeah, and the other guy is like basic Revenge of the Nerds
Cricket,
sidekick.
Right?
Yeah,
his name was Cricket.
And Cricket comes up to Captain Amazeballs or whatever his name is, and it's like, "Hey, I'm going to take you away from these two girls here who are obviously trying to hit on you for whatever reason. And you see that girl over there who is way less into you than these two girls are there? Yeah, let's take our time and walk very slowly over there so I can introduce you to her." Like that, right?
She wants some action, and she wants a piece of you know what.
Yeah. So anyway, and it's our lead.
Yeah.
And
Mary Ann Lovett.
Mary Ann Lovett.
Lovely.
She is way into herself, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And she's new at school, and she instructs everybody to call her Lovely.
It's her nickname.
Yeah, okay.
But she says later in the movie that she hates it. So
even though she was telling everybody to call her that at her new school.
Yeah.
So presumably, this one had to have happened. They gave her that nickname at her previous school where she was a cheerleader murderer. We'll get into that here in just a second. Where she was, and they all called her Love, like, "I hate that name. I'm going to a new school," right? And so she goes to this new school. "Oh, call me Lovely." It's like, what? It's like you're at a new school. You could do any, like people are gonna call you like. How do you go to a new school and be able to pick your own nickname? You're a cheerleader and you kill people. Well, okay, let's get into that. We might as well because it's like to me, it's like the biggest cloud over the whole movie is that this girl, our lead, Lovely, pretends to be interested in this guy, goes upstairs in a high school dance, where they're all 27 plus, to get some hot D. Tricks him, shoves a bunch of, I guess, drugs or something.
I think it was.
It looked like weeds.
It was
like
weed.
Not weed, the drug, but like actual weeds.
I want to say he was like, I don't know if he was just calling it oregano to not call it pot or whatever.
Yeah.
But then he's like, and then you soak it in either like PCP or acid or something. He says, and he's like, and then you sell it to the kids, and
yeah.
So he's got like a whole jar of it, and she grabs him and shoves it in his mouth,
down his throat, and then does that. That thing, and they even say, "Be like, oh, we like my first thought was when she was rubbing his neck, like, why is she rubbing his neck like she's forcing her dog to take its medicine? Like, that's stupid." And then she says it, and then she literally says, like, this is how we made the possums take their medicine back in South Carolina or wherever the hell I came from, right? It's like, oh, so they really are that dumb, right? So then we cut away. It's revealed that he died. Because
but not because of the drugs, though. He was still alive when they found him. They took him to the hospital, and then he hung himself. Supposedly,
that doesn't make any sense.
They found him hanging from the ceiling with a necktie. Then they said something about, have you ever known this kid to wear a necktie? And one of the riffs there was, it belonged to Jeffrey Epstein. And that was the other part that I went, oh, they did not just say that. And they did say that. I was very shocked. My wife also made pretty much that same noise.
Okay, but here's the thing: is that her intent, and this would stick with me through the whole movie. Her intent was clearly to murder this man.
Oh yeah, she wanted him dead.
Yeah, and so,
because he sold the drugs to her kid brother Arthur, the guy who drowned himself in the first scene.
Yeah,
and that's like 20 minutes later when we learned that's what was going on. Like,
her kid brother
Arthur. Yeah.
So that means he had to have been in like junior high.
Yeah, because Dad and Mom sent him out to live with their Aunt May after Dad hurt himself at the logging mill or something.
What was that joke? Okay, there was a joke about Aunt May. It's like, well, is it standard Aunt May or Marissa Tomei Aunt May? I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good. So Lovely is trying to hunt down the person behind the drug distribution, and she has an older boyfriend who is fresh out of high school, and he owns a shipping company because his dad died and left it to him, but he just wants to be an artist. He wants to sing. And
I was about to say, is this the guy that wait, I think, isn't he still in the high school, because he sang with his band in like third period algebra?
No, they said, thanks for welcoming me back to the school to perform for you.
To perform for you here in third period algebra.
Yeah. It was really weird. It wasn't even in like the gym or the cafeteria or anything.
No, yeah.
It was just in one of the classrooms.
It was like Mrs. Bronson being like, okay, well, you were one of my favorite students that I still remember from last year. Yes, you can come play your generic rock blues, whatever, here and take up all my valuable time. Because I only get 45 minutes with each class.
That's where they make the great joke about him.
Oh yeah, that's right. They make that callback to one of our favorite shorts, How to Use the Calendar.
Yeah. Because he looked like the guy who sang about how to use a calendar, one of the calendar fairies.
I couldn't believe they still remember that. I was like, it's like, yes, Like, oh,
that's a super deep cut.
Yep. Only for,
then,
as Bill likes to say, only the ancients of the ancients will understand. He's talking about us. We love you too, Bill.
So, Lovely decides to meet the football player who is selling drugs at the school, whose name is Mantis Manigan, or Mantis Managian or something. His first name is Mantis. Okay, can we talk about this for a second? We need to talk about the names in this movie.
I don't know what there is to say about it. I mean, it's just
we've got Lovely, we've got Cricket, we've got Mantis, we've got Javelin, we've got Honest Charlie, we've got Gamora. Like, come on, man.
Okay.
People are just all over the place with your names.
If you'll indulge me for just a moment.
Sure.
I have a theory. Well, I have a it's not really a theory, it's more of a observation about screenwriters. Is that a lot of them, there's like 3 roulette wheels for names. Okay? One is common name roulette. Okay? And that's just like, names like Dave and Jeremy and Sarah and, boring, stupid names like ours, And then there's, that's common name roulette. Okay?
Okay.
Then there's stupid name roulette, which is the kinds of names that people in real life rarely have, like Sebastian and Piper and, crap like that. And, but then there's a third roulette wheel, and it's called crazy name roulette. And it's names that have like no business being in the ecosystem of names. And I think that's kind of where this falls in. So they kind of so it's unimaginative, common name, stupid names, and crazy names that don't belong in anything. So I think that most screenwriters fall into the stupid name roulette kind of deal. But this writer clearly uses the crazy name roulette wheel.
Yeah, she goes to try and figure out how to talk to Mantis, and she talks to one of the other cheerleaders, and it turns out that's the girl from the day at the beach. And this other blonde cheerleader shows up, and she's like, the only way anybody talks to Mantis is through me. And then she makes the redhead girl fight Lovely, and then a couple other cheerleaders come in, and then a couple other random girls come in. We have like this whole brawl in a locker room right before the brawl starts. Just a heads up, there is a very fast, like, blink and you miss it boob shot here.
I was about to say, I didn't see any
putting her top back on. There was also in the very first scene at the beach, one of the girls was topless. They only show that for like a split second, so it's, you don't really have to worry about that too much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Skin. I would never have even noticed that unless you.
There is also a scene, I don't know, roughly around the middle of the movie, with Lovely and her shipping magnate boyfriend in a hot tub. That feels very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
and even the guys are like, are we supposed to be here for this? And thankfully they cut away before anything happens. But it's very uncomfortable. Anyway, we have this brawl. Like, it is an all out like riot in this locker room. There's all these girls just keep coming in out of nowhere and just jumping in the fight.
But okay, but it seems like so it seems like only about half of them are cheerleaders.
Yeah,
but it turns out that they were all cheerleaders. It turns out because the cheerleader coach, Ed, who also runs that, like their cheerleading karate dojo coach,
Zebra Woman.
Also, she comes in to be like, if I see anybody else fighting for the rest of the semester, every one of you people will be off the squad, and there'll be no cheerleaders left. Right? And that's supposed to be like the big deterrent, to be like, they don't get to go out in front of the student body and get ignored and make jackasses out of themselves. So but that's a big thing for girls, being a cheerleader. I get it, but the rest of the school,
especially back
spoiler alert, especially back in 1981, guess what? The rest of the school didn't care about you. But
no. So she meets up with Mantis, and she gets invited to this party, And it turns out that the two people there, Honest Charlie and then some other idiot, they're like the two main people behind the whole drug thing. And the mean cheerleader's there, and she dumps a little bit of creamed herring on Lovely's
her
heel,
shoes. Yeah, on her shoes.
and like everybody laughs like it's the funniest thing in the world. And then
and she's like, "You're not gonna do that to my shoes."
And then Lovely tricks the girl into sitting down into a bowl full of caviar, and then we get a food fight.
And then we see
of course
all of their underwears. It's like so
And-
many crotch shots that it's just like, no.
They start
Why?
playing this very I don't know, that Benny Hill style music. Like it's really out of place music for what's going on, because it's not just this goofy, they're fighting. Like they're throwing each other through glass shelves and all this stuff, but they're playing this like goofy Benny Hill music like behind it. It was a very confused scene, I think, in this movie. The owner of the house, the really uptight guy, comes in and the party's over, everybody out. And I'm not sure exactly what that voice was, but that's what you're getting. And so they kick her out. She goes back with Honest Charlie like to his house.
Oh no. Okay, yeah.
He gets a little handsy, and
Okay, let's talk about this for just a second. Honest Charlie, first of all, every time I see him and he like just his face, and every time he opened his mouth, it seemed like he was channeling somehow from 1981. He was channeling Kevin Spacey in House of Cards. Like he really seemed
it
like
was
Frank
very much
Underwood.
that voice. Yeah.
Like, but his face. Go back and look. Being like, he shouldn't try to spend this kind of money on me. Like, okay, well, be like, all you girls out there, all you think I'm all the same. Just like, I'm not only interested in sex, right? And then like fight, like, but then like less than 2 minutes later, he's trying to pour himself onto her. It's like, like, look, be like, I'm a 30-year-old in high school. This is so inappropriate, right?
Yeah. But so she beats him up a little bit, and then his two bodyguards, Judd Ullman, the guy who was in Bounty Tracker just a little while ago.
Oh, was he? I've completely forgotten everything about Bounty Tracker.
He was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He was the guy who escaped from jail in that movie that Pee-wee was helping. And then we got this movie's version of Mongo, I think, from Blazing Saddles. That's what the character reminded me of. Gamora, big and dumb. And, stupid name roulette, right?
Yeah.
This dude, I kid you not, he grabs a whole grapefruit in the movie and just starts eating it.
I've eaten grapefruit
before. Like he's biting through the peel and like just eating it all.
Yeah, and what was it that Mike called it in their wholesale wire spool and grapefruit warehouse?
It was a grapefruit and like spools of carpet remnant.
Yeah,
warehouse. Yeah, oh, it was.
And then there's that chase.
So she gets captured and she gets stuck in a warehouse. Okay, and she kind of escapes, and then they catch her, and then the guy goes to get her boyfriend.
Can we talk about how she escapes? Like,
which time?
Okay. Well, she's tied up, right? And I guess like the ropes are like down towards like her nether area.
It's around her waist?
Yeah. So something like that. And I guess it's Gamora because he's an idiot.
They're gonna kill her, and she's like, I could use one more thrill before I die. And so Gamora takes her and off into a different area of the warehouse, and she's like, I could do more if my hands were untied. And so
he goes down like forgive me, he goes down like he's about to perform cunnilingus on her, and comes back up with the ropes in his mouth.
Okay,
like oh hey baby.
Was he making those slurping sounds, or was that one of the guys riffing it?
I think
it might have been in the movie. Like,
I don't think. Look, I just like I wouldn't hold it against them if they did because it's kind of funny, but I don't think. I think Mike Nelson would have put a stop to that.
Yeah, maybe.
No, guys, we are not making that joke. We are not
Yeah,
making a cuddlingus joke here on Riff Tracks.
His head goes out of frame, goes down out of frame, and you hear like this slurping, and you're just like, "What is going on?" And he comes up with the rope in his mouth, like he was eating spaghetti or something. It was that. Oh, yeah, it's very disturbing. But this, and then she punches him and she runs away. But this is after they bring her boyfriend. The guy goes to get her boyfriend, not Honest Charlie, but the other guy. I don't remember his name. And he's like,
well, let's spin the wheel and let's give him a name. Yeah. Let's spin the wheel and give him a name. His name is Ravioli. Let's go.
I think it might have been Warren. I think it was Warren. I'm looking at the cast list here. I think it was Warren. Okay. I don't know. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. It's not important. He goes and he gets the shipping magnate boyfriend, and guess what? He was in on the whole thing. He was.
Derp.
How do you think the drugs got shipped in? So she freaks out. She gets really angry at him, and anyway, she goes and she escapes from Gamora, and she gets in this like plastic boat. Like these boats were plastic. They had motors on them. They were like little tour boats or whatever, $50 to rent them. And they have this boat chase, which you can't even call it a chase. She gets out part way, her motor dies. The other boat comes up, she jumps in, kicks the crap out of the two guys, takes their boat, and then the other guy, the Warren guy or whoever it is, they start heading towards each other. And guys, they hit the front of the two plastic boats together and they explode. Why did the plastic boats explode? I don't understand.
Because it's a movie. Haven't you seen Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade?
Yes, I have.
Totally that.
There was a joke in here that I know Connor wrote. Because they said it was more almost as exciting as Ducks Ahoy on the Commodore 64.
Yeah, that had to have been Connor.
Based on our previous conversation with Connor and with
Sean, yeah,
that was definitely a Connor Listoka.
Anytime we hear a Commodore 64 reference, it's
we know it's Connor. Yeah,
a sentence that I never thought I'd hear myself say. Anytime there's a Commodore 64 reference,
it's Connor. And there was one other joke in there that really surprised me because I just wasn't expecting that to come up. But right before the food fight, everybody's laughing in the party, and they say that they all just went and saw the Capitol Steps perform, and that's why they're still laughing.
I don't get
it. The Capitol Steps it's a political humor thing. You know, they make fun of all the politicians, everybody. They've been doing it for years. And
hang on, before we continue, you know what we didn't talk about? We didn't talk about, and this is kind of a little bit of a nod to Velvet Smooth, even though they probably didn't intend it, is that there's a fight scene that takes place in the school, where I think they like go to their Lovely and boyfriend. I think
is this the one where they're like wearing the fencing gear?
Yeah. They're walking down the hall and like they come at them with the fencing gear on. Like they have these fencing swords. Like those things aren't sharp. They're not going to hurt anybody. Those are not edged swords.
No, they're blunted tips.
Yeah. So like basically, like it's just going to give you a bad bruise. I mean, that's like the worst that could possibly happen with those things. And so they go into, I think, like the wood shop, and they have this really terrible fight scene.
Yeah, it was just weirdly choreographed,
and it did remind me a lot of the masked gangs in Velvet Smooth. I don't know why, but it's just like we've had two of these things, not in a row, but like near each other. where we have a female protagonist is attacked by these masked assailants that is just really stupid. Like
Yeah, it was very
yeah.
dumb.
Anyway, I sorry, I just wanted to talk about that before we got to the end of the movie.
That is the end of the movie. She goes and she gets her boyfriend arrested, and the school superintendent, who was also in on it, gets arrested, and that's it. The credits roll.
What happened to the cop?
And then we see
what happened to the incompetent cop.
They brought him in to arrest the guys.
He didn't do anything.
No, he didn't. He was playing some stupid electronic detective game when they walked in to like give him the tip that Lovely was
who was
held
it
in a
that said?
warehouse.
Was it the boyfriend that was telling him like, "How come you don't act on any hot tips?" What?
That was the other guy at school that liked her.
Yeah, that
But
clearly
he was actually a student.
Yeah, like I'm only 24. I'm in the 11th
Steve
grade.
Barringer.
Yeah.
Steve Barringer. There was Steve. Yeah, because Javelin was the actual boyfriend. Oh my God, these names. But anyway, they did one of my favorite things with this movie, and they kept riffing over the albeit short credits, but they went through the whole thing.
Yeah,
I
love it
about
when they
Gamora
do that,
because he woke up. Gamora came to on a beach after the boat exploded that he was in, and Kevin was scared because you assured me that Gamora was dead. You told me he was dead. You remember how you held me and told me it would be fine? Well, it's not fine. And they were like going to Panera to get grain bowls or something.
But yeah, that's pretty good. I do like it when they do that too.
Yeah, but that's Lovely but Deadly.
Do you think that's the best one of 2020 so far?
Yes. I'm not even gonna hesitate on that one. That is by far my favorite. I mean, it's Velvet Smooth was my favorite.
Yeah, Velvet Smooth is excellent.
And this one is just above Velvet Smooth, I think. Now there is one other thing that I want to talk about real quick with this movie before I actually forget. I have it written down on paper right in front of me, and I still almost forgot.
On paper.
And the only reason, yes, on paper with a pencil. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because for the preview for Lovely but Deadly, one of the scenes in there, a boom mic drops into frame, and Bill says, "Boom mic, take a drink." And so I knew from that point that the whole movie was going to be filled with the boom mic coming into frame. I did discuss this with my wife a little bit because she was watching it with me, and she was helping me keep track of it. So we got 11. We got 11. Yeah, 11 boom mic shots in this movie, and a movie that's 98 minutes long.
I guess that's a lot. I don't make a lot of movies.
As I mentioned prior to talking about Ninja Warlord and Lovely but Deadly, we did already record an episode where we talked about Cindy the Swamp Boy.
Yes,
and that episode will be coming out shortly after this one, at least a couple days after this episode.
In the next previous episode.
Yes. So we decided, and you'll hear us talking about it after talking about Zinni the Swamp Boy, that our next patron poll was going to be a clean slate. We were taking off the other movies that were on there, and we were just going to start fresh again with 3 new choices. So we are going to be putting Cool as Ice, Rock and Roll Nightmare, and Riff Tracks Live Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Which is going to be 8 years old this year.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's going to be our next patron poll. If you want to check that out, you can head out to patreon.com/True Blue RiffCast. And you can support us if you would like to for as little as $2 a month. And you can get some behind-the-scenes things. You can get some bloopers, some goofy ringtones or notification sounds, usually of things that Dave says or does that I take out of context just because they sound funny, and previews of what's coming up in other episodes and stuff like that. And
I don't think we had any of those this episode. I don't think I said anything wildly inappropriate.
Not yet.
There's still time.
There's still time. We're still recording.
Yeah, so, I mean, we'll see.
So-
We'll see where we go from here.
Patreon.com/True Blue RiffCast. Help keep us ad-free. I don't know. I think that's what people say. Yeah. We'll shill
We
our own
have
stuff.
ads. That's right.
Yeah, because we're popular enough to.
Yes, it's
to
not
have
like
ads.
it's not like this podcast is already not an hour-long advertisement for Riff Tracks to begin
Yeah.
with.
But it is an ad. It's one big unpaid ad.
That we gladly do because we love
yes.
you.
It's a labor of love.
And by you, I mean Connor Listoka. Oh my God! See, I did it. I was able to. You thought it wasn't gonna happen.
That's staying in.
Oh, that's
Dave.
staying in?
That's
Okay.
staying in, yeah. But on that note, we are going to wrap things up today. I am Jeremy. You can send me emails, jeremy@trueblueriffcast.com. You can follow me on Twitter @PBandAwesome, or you can follow the podcast on Twitter @TBRiffcast.
And I'm Dave Chadwick, a.k.a. Sugar Ray Dodge. Check me out on the web at sugarraydodge.com. Send me emails at sugarraydodge@gmail.com. Check me out on all the social medias at Sugar Ray Dodge.
And we will see you guys next time right here on the True Blue RiffCast.
Carol Baskin?